Okay, so here's one of the other pieces I'm working on in this nature series. And what I do when I get started is I kind of go through my I have a basket with boxes in it with different kinds of papers, scraps that I've ripped up and saved. And I'll kind of leaf through those and get some ideas of where I want to go. And it was from doing that that I found all the little butterflies and birds. Let me see, that goes over there. You know, just a collection of little things like that that made me think, oh, I think I'll do a series. Ooh, that's kind of cool. I think I'll do a nature series. That's kind of fun. That could play into this somehow. So I sort it all out. Here's my inspiration and my nature. I've got some texture pieces. I pull out pieces that that I think I might use. Woo. You know, in case I need something with some length in it, and you can see I've used some of that. These are boards, illustration boards that I had done samples on a long time ago, and I cut those up, and I've used a couple of those. Papers that have some texture, some interest going on with them. I'll pull that out. This was actually a really cool wallpaper I made for a client once upon a time, and it shows up every once in a while in my art. I'll pull text aside that I think might work. These are little scraps that are just showing up as I work. So if they're worth saving, I'll keep them in a pile. Little detail things that might work into my nature story. So let me clear this guy off, and I really like this composition I have going on, so hopefully I can recreate it. But if you have things that are laying around and you don't know what to do with them, you know, it's a piece that you're not quite, aren't really sold on, think about saving it and using it for something else. Now I could have done this 3 going this way, and there's a lot of stencil relief happening on this board. I used Venetian plaster and rubbed colors into it, and I love the board. Made some marks in the plaster when it was wet, and I'm really liking where the board is. So definitely want to work with this. Now that I've torn everything apart, let's see where I was. This was a bird that was in my stash that I had found and printed out on tissue paper on my printer, which is always a challenge doing tissue paper in your printer. Let's see if I can recreate this. Really like this. This is just a piece of paper that was just a piece of newsprint that I did some, let me show you. I just did some scribbles and smeared paint into it, just to have colors. And I really like the colors of that one. Here's my bird. And let's see, I don't want to cover a lot of my texture because that's part of the composition. I love these little guys. When you pull these off of your notebooks, I can never throw those away. And I'm going to use that to kind of mask this straight side of the bird because I don't like that cut edge. This is a spine of an old book. It's a Vanity Fair book. Maybe that's the name of it. Vanity Fair. Oh, it's by William Shakespeare. Now I'm gonna put this, I wanna put that where you can still read it. I want to break up a little bit of this line here. And I don't really need that, let me see, actually I want this to not be such an intersection. Let me move him in a little bit. And as you know, it's a lot of moving things around to get right where you want it to be. Come back down here. I don't want to completely make this number 3 go away. And I did have this number 8. Now, just so you know, I did take a picture of this, and I have it up here so I can remember how I originally had it set up. Now, that doesn't mean I won't make changes along the line, but I had played with this a little bit before. Well, more than a little bit. I played with this. Now, I know I want this. I can put that right there because I am going to put this really great piece of textured paper right here. I think I'm going to do it right there, which means I might want, I kind of do like that. And I know I'm mumbling a little bit because I'm thinking this through as I move along. This again is another piece of tissue paper, just hand done little circles with acrylic ink. And I had that just coming down here on the side, and once I lay that in, the paper will disappear and it will just be the little dark circles that show up. This is the inside of a shoe box, and I've gotten a couple pair of these shoes. I can't even remember who they are, but it has, the inside of the box has print, and this one says Truth and Beauty, and I really, really like that. So I am gonna keep that. Maybe this guy needs to come up a little bit more. No, as long as you can read the Truth and Beauty, I like that. Okay, so far so good. Am I missing anything? I do remember I had this little guy, little branch coming through. Anything else I'm missing? I think I'm gonna continue this line. Whoa, move back. I might continue this coming down here. Just to have that color, the strength of that color coming down. And I know I'm rambling. I'm quite aware of that. However, these are just how my thoughts pop up. This was out of my garden. It is a flower off of my hydrangea, and I've used this several times. I've used these in cyanotype, so some of them have a really pretty blue on them. But I pick these things and I press them in a book, so I have actual live plants to work with to glue into my pieces and, you know, add to the story. Now what? I feel like, do I need something there? Not really. I was playing around with, let me move this down a little bit so I can move this down a little bit. I was playing around with these. These are actually twigs that I had wrapped with deli papers, and I was actually playing around with adding 1 or 2 of those in as a dimensional piece. I like that. Let me move him. I'm really liking that. Now, I could add these really great little hummingbirds in. Do I need them? Do I want them? I kind of like them. Not there, though. I don't like them there. I'm not wild that they're on a piece of white paper because I don't want it to stand out that much. Although, let's get rid of some of these hard edges. I know I don't like that. I don't really mind it over here on this side. because it kind of keeps your eye moving, that light color. And I could always do a simple wash over that to make sure it doesn't, to let it blend in a little bit more. I hate to rip this one because I'm ripping off their little hummingbird beaks. But I feel like I really need that piece in here somehow. Could fit right there. I do like it more like this, and maybe if I tuck it right in there. I'm thinking I like this a lot. Beauty and Truth. I do like to put something in that has some meaning for the piece, some writing. I could write right on the board, which I might do. So, and there is when you're working on a piece, as you may know, and if you don't know, pull from everywhere. Pull from everywhere that you have things going on, and yeah, that's where the inspiration comes from. That's where the fun comes from. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these pieces down and bring them back and show you where they ended up. But this was just my ideas on composition, and quite rightly, they change a lot. It depends on the mood that I'm in, but most of my pieces are very linear. I do like things nice and neat and tidy and organized. And then I like one or two things sitting at an angle to kind of throw you off. Like that could go up there. It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but maybe it can't go there. Maybe it could go here. Who knows? But I like a couple things that just add some interest. But mostly I line things up. I line things up. What can I say? Okay, I'm going to show you a little bit about how I glue my pieces down. Once I've got it all set up, oh my gosh, then what do? You know, you have to take it all off. You're going to forget where you set things. And what I will do is go and take my lower pieces and just give them a placeholder. I know if I can get these pieces in place where I want them, like I know I want that one right there. I know I want my little bird there. I know I want that in this space because I have some texture coming down the edge here that I don't want to lose. This will be easy to remember where I'm putting it. This guy, not so much. So let me get my little bird down there. And then I want and this is on tracing paper, so it pretty much will disappear. Him out of my way. Oops. I'm just going to go ahead and put this guy down. I think he is right about there. No, I remember I cut him to go right around. And keeping in mind, I want to keep working and keeping an eye on my papers to make sure they don't bubble as I go. These little guys are showing up, the tracing papers showing up a little bit more than I want. So I'm going to remove part of it. Maybe even make that little circle a little askew. Okay, now I want to go back, make sure I've got my little bird down. I'm going to glue these two pieces down. So I basically have gotten a little bit of a structure placed, so now it'll make it easier to remember and get the other pieces put down where I want them. I can use my color shaper to make sure those papers are going to lay down flat and stay down. I think I've got enough going on here. Put my little book perch on here. I'm going to keep that kind of down low, so if I decide to use one of these, I can plop it right in there. And I believe I am going to use one of these. I just may change it so it's not black. I might put a different colored paper on it. For right now, I'm going to add him. Now, this is a piece of, this is actually a flower, a piece of nature. So I want to make sure I'm very gentle in laying it down, but I also want to make sure I get enough coats on it to protect it. So I'm going to put one coat on, let that dry, and I'll come back and add a few more. Now this little guy, my little hummingbirds, don't know if I need them, but I really like them. I don't feel like I need to have anything else going down. I need to have something to open this up a little bit. So, oh, maybe right there. And I'll show you what I'm going to do just to help it make a little bit more sense. I might be able to do it right now while it's... I'm going to take just the tiniest, I think. Tiny, tiny, tiny bit. There, just to kind of soften it out a little bit. And maybe not completely. Maybe I want to bring a couple of those little birds out, but I just didn't want that paper to be bright white. So there you go. That's what I have so far, I think. Then on my edges, I'm going to make life easy and just wrap this around. That little Escher paper is going to work great for this. This guy, maybe not so much, so I'm going to try to tear it. Let's see if I can get a start with it. Or Actually, I do like it wrapped around. It's going to take a little bit more to get it to stick, but I like it. So I'll deal with that later. And that's all I'm going to do for now. Not really sure yet, but I got this step done, and that's just an idea of how I lay out my compositions and my thought process. I did have a little bit of it figured out beforehand because otherwise this would be a very long video, and I hope that's helpful. And this is one of the pieces in my Artist Sunday collection. If you don't know about Artist Sunday, think of it like Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, or Cyber Monday, only it's exclusively artists and the opportunity to purchase art and support the artists that you love. And I'm kind of hoping I'm one of them. So I'll add a link to my online collection in the description below. I've curated a group of more personal work that I think would make great gift-giving art pieces for something more creative for the holidays. I've included shipping with all my prices, so along with that savings, I'm also offering a 15% discount on the more personalized pieces that I've curated for this collection, for this Artist Sunday collection. And I'm going to have that up until December 10th. So take a look. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.